Hello and welcome. You caught me doing something then. This is Stephen in wonderful Wiltshire, England. It is Wednesday, it's 10 a.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. in the UK, and today we're taking a look at VPNs for streaming, yes or no. And I'm going to give you my decision during the course of this broadcast, and we're going to take a look at, well, three of the areas which are increased security, high internet speed, and unrestricted access. So that's what we're going to be looking at today. If you're watching live on YouTube, thank you. And if I go over here, we are joined by Domino Entertainment, who are saying, yes, the online Domino community, Domino Entertainment hybrid events are absolutely in the building. So thank you for joining me, and we'll crack on with today. Now, for everything that I do, you know, one of the first things I do in terms of the live broadcast is to set things up. I'm going to move from my office. This is my broadcasting studio, and I can zoom in and out because I'm using an Exigo 970p. And the other thing I can do, I got hold of some software this week, which is absolutely incredible. So, now then, VPNs. What is a VPN? Let's look at the menu for today, and the menu is here. And if I go here, we're going to, should you use a VPN for live streaming? We're going to do, what is a VPN? How does a VPN work? Privacy and security is one of the reasons for using a VPN. Bypass geo restrictions, where you can't normally get something in your own country. Network stability, and I came across a video this week, which I'll tell you about shortly, about broadcasting games on Twitch. Avoid throttling, and basically we'll go through that. Protection against DDoS attacks, remote access, especially when you're on mobile, because we're talking about VPNs not just for desktop, PC and Mac, we're talking about VPNs for mobile as well. Compliance and regulation, and early access and testing. So that is today's agenda, and we've got studios hiding. I'm not. I suppose the best place to start, VPN stands for Virtual Private Network. And rather than using your own internet service provider or ISP, you actually go out through a virtual private network. Now, there are, first of all, let's start with the beginning. There are VPNs and other VPNs. There are free VPNs. Now, free VPNs don't have all the benefits that a paid for VPN has. So for a VPN, you're going to have to pay, and you can get special deals on annual or two yearly contracts, and they might be worth looking at. But the first thing I'm going to look at, and I'm going to put the link in into, if I go here, okay, I'm going to bring this on screen. In researching this, because as you know, I research everything that I talk about, I came across a blog post. I'm going to post a link to the blog post in the chat now. So I'm going to add this to the stream and take myself off solo. And here we have it. Okay, so the link to this blog post has been posted on YouTube. And I'll have a look in the chat at the moment. There it is. The link has been posted into the chat. So do have a read of that blog as well. So it will remind you of what I'm talking about today. So there are free VPNs. I wouldn't, basically what you try and do is be secure. And to be secure, you need to pay. Now, the top VPN system is NordVPN. The second is Surfshark. Now, I've got Surfshark. I'm testing it and I'll report back in a month's time as to what changes it's actually made to my live streaming. But it's certainly made a change. I've got it on my mobile phone. Okay, I've installed it on my mobile phone. I've installed it on my iPad, and both of those are benefiting speed-wise. There's a great difference in speed. Okay, so next thing we're going to look at, if I go to live sales, is how does it work? How does a VPN work? And if I go down here and I go to here, this is the best illustration of a VPN that I've seen. I'm going to add it to the stream, and I'm going to place it at the top. Okay, this is how a VPN works. I'll put my glasses on so I can read it with you. Okay, normally user device, okay, is on the left-hand side. And if we look at the bottom one first, when you switch your computer on, it connects to your internet service provider, your ISP. There's no VPN involved and goes straight out to the internet. Now, in those circumstances, there is no additional security. Whereas, if we go the top route, which is the one that you'd use if you had a VPN, is that you have your machine, then you download a VPN client, even on desktop. You download the client, and then that client then goes through to the ISP. Now, basically, this means the ISP doesn't know what you're doing, who you are. It can't identify you. Okay, and then from the internet service provider, it goes to the VPN server and then out to the internet. So anybody who's actually on the internet doesn't know who you are. You are anonymous. Okay, and your internet service provider cannot tell where you are surfing. That's how a VPN works. What you're actually doing is putting in two additional layers, a VPN client and a VPN server, and they give you the following. Let's just bring this on screen. Okay, so that's how it works. Yeah. So I've posted the link on YouTube, and here it is. If I can't, because I posted it, I can't show it on screen, but the link is on YouTube. If you click the link, you will find out more about what a VPN can do and how they work, step-by-step guide to how they work. And I found that very useful. And as I say, it's the best diagram I've seen, which shows why I'm posting a link to the blog. And we say thank you to the team who wrote the ultimate guide to VPNs. What does a VPN protect you from? And as I say, I've installed one. I've installed a VPN, and I'm testing at the moment. Okay, so let's go with menu and go up here so you can see me. I'm just about to move from here to here. So hopefully in a second. Yeah. Okay, you can see me up here, and then you can see the agenda for today. Should you use a VPN for live streaming? Introduction, what is a VPN? How does it work? And we'll discuss those two. Now, the first thing about a VPN is if we go back to the diagram a moment, you're actually being masked. Even to your client provider, they don't know who in your who is actually connecting. You've got the signal which says you're a subscriber, but then they don't know anything about you. They do not know who you are, where you're surfing, and therefore they can't keep track of you, can't keep track of the websites you're actually visiting. And there are circumstances where that could be important if you want to browse unidentified. Okay, So privacy and security are built into VPNs. You can't get a situation, well, we'll talk about it in a moment, where you can get attacked or your information is totally secure. Your real IP address is masked, because when you go from your device to the VPN client gives you an IP address. Now, an IP address is like an email address. It is basically the URL which identifies you, and that's being masked, so you are secure. And we go here. Right, now one of the reasons that people use VPNs is basically, I know when I'm, for argument's sake, I'm going to Australia in later this month, and whilst there, I want to surf the internet, but I want to surf it from UK servers. So I can ask my VPN provider to put me through a UK server. And that means, as far as everybody's concerned, I'm actually still surfing from the UK, which gives me access, and I'm going to test this out when I go to Australia, access to programs which are not available in the area where I am at that particular moment in time. So you can, basically what broadcasters do, and we all fall foul of this, is that they broadcast certain things in certain countries and restrict access. Now, I'm not suggesting you should do this, but you could basically, if there was a game being released and you wanted to test it, then you could do it anonymously. And right, network stability, and this is an important one, and this is my first thing that I found out when I was researching for this week's broadcast. We as live broadcasters need to have a secure and a constant internet signal. What we can't have when we're broadcasting live is a signal which fluctuates, because the quality of the broadcast fluctuates. Now, for me today, it's just me on screen. But if you're a Twitch broadcaster and you broadcast gameplay, what you don't want is for any problems with the server. By using a VPN, you're not actually using the ISP's server, you're using a VPN server, as you can see, because it goes from the ISP to the VPN. And that means that you're going to get a constant signal. On the bottom diagram, you're basically, the best speed you can get is from your internet service provider. On the VPN, it may well improve your speed. Now, if you live in the States and you've got a provider, I'm not going to name any names, and you've got problems in the internet signal, and when you go live on Twitch game streaming, then a VPN can solve your problem. I saw a real-world example of this when I was researching, where a Twitch gamer was having lag. And lag when you're actually broadcasting a live game is, well, it just makes everybody turn away. So no matter how good you are at the game, if the game is lagging, in other words, it's not being transmitted in real time, there's a lag between what you're doing and what's going out. If you've got lagging, you've got a real problem. A VPN can actually help you with that problem by providing a server which is better than the server you're actually using. So if you're in the States, there are VPN servers in every state in the USA. So you can connect to the server in your state and you can get a better service than you can from your internet service provider. And you can choose, so you can go for Texas or Colorado or Idaho or any of those, Arkansas. You can actually move your signal from where you are to a better place where you're getting good signal. What you can do with the VPN is you can actually test the different servers. I'm going through a server in Manchester when I broadcast live, and that's a better server than we've got down in wonderful Wiltshire, I'll tell you. So right, so network stability. VPNs do bring network stability. In fact, if I go to here, you can see that as far as streamers are concerned, increased security. Okay, I'm going to keep coming back to that. Higher internet speed, because the reason I've just stated, you can switch servers from one state to another, to one country to another, depending on where you want to be, and you're given unrestricted access because there is no geo-locking taking place with a VPN. You can be broadcasting from wherever you want in the world, and you can experiment. And this is all about experimenting to find the best setup, because VPNs do give you more freedom. I'm not locked in to a server near me in Wiltshire. I basically can use any of, well, I'll show you. Basically, if I share screen for a moment, just give me a second. I'm going to go and share screen. Okay, because I have joined. I'm going to share. I'm going to come back to my studio. Now, as far as VPNs are concerned, and I'm just going to hide that. Just give me a moment. I'm going to remove that. Okay, move myself to the top. This is my account with Surfshark. Now, I started this when I was doing the research, but as you can see, what you do, as we said, is you download an app for your mobile phone, you download an app for your iPad, and you download an app for every PC that you're actually using. And you can have applications on Mac, Windows, Linux. Browsers, you can use Chrome or Firefox or Edge, and that's basically the actual setup, and you get setup guides. Installing simple and straightforward. In fact, if I go here, hopefully everything is going to be fine, but it takes you through installing on PC or Mac, on the tablets or phones that you have. Simple and straightforward to do, and once you've got it, then it is easy to operate. This is the thing, although it's doing some high-tech things, it's not complicated to use. I'm going to try, if I go here and I go here, hopefully I will stay on there, but just give me a second. Okay, I'm going to load an app. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing my screen. That will disappear in a second. And I'm loading an app and waiting for the app to load. Now, this may take a minute or two, and hopefully it won't interrupt what we're doing. But I'm going to show you how it works, because it is so simple and so straightforward. You install it on your desktop, and we're going to share the Surfshark app. Okay, now what we're talking about, as I said earlier, is if I go and I go to share again, and I can see I've got something in the chat. I'll be back in a minute. So let me go and share, and we're going to share an application this time. And this is, hopefully, did that work? Okay, this is it. This is the Surfshark app. Downloaded for my desktop. Now, as you can see, I'm not connected to it at the moment, but basically what you've got, once you've downloaded it, log in, and then all you need to do is select your server. Now, I'm basically set up to use the Manchester server, but I could use servers in Albania, Algeria. I'm just going to keep scrolling down. You can see all the countries that you can actually use a VPN. And this gives you anonymity and allows you to broadcast as if you're actually broadcasting from that country. So I can go for Ireland, that's an option. And what I want to do is go down to the United Kingdom, which we will in a second. But it is impressive, the list of servers that are available to use. And come back down here, and we're nearly there. So United Kingdom, and we've got London and Manchester, Glasgow, Edinburgh. So I could be in any of those. And then this is what I was saying earlier, that you've got servers in the United States. There are servers in Boston, New York, Buffalo, Ashburn, Detroit, Charlotte, Chicago, Latham, Atlanta, Orlando. So you can connect to a server in your state. And all you need to do is select it. And then having selected it, let's go back up the top. Sorry about this scrolling. Go back up the top of the list. Be there in a second. Okay, and mine is in the UK. So on the right-hand side, it's giving me my IP address. Now, this is the IP address that will be seen by everybody. Rather than my IP address given to me by my ISP, the IP address that's seen on the internet will be that one instead. So in other words, my IP is swapped out and the Surfshark IP is used instead. And all I need to do is to press Quick Connect. Now, I know I have learned that in the middle of a broadcast, you never connect and disconnect a VPN. Yeah, because if I connect the VPN now, then there's an interruption in signal while from the route it goes from the route it was taking. If I go down here, and I'm just going to bring this on screen again, just give me a second. And let's go here. This is bound to happen in any broadcast, especially with so many moving parts. I'm going to go to the shop again. I need to move that out of the way. So let's go to the shop. I'm going to show this on screen again. This is the one I want. Okay, so add to stream and bring it here. Bring it onto here. There we are. Okay. Basically, the user device in the top diagram on the left-hand side has got an IP address. That IP address has been given to me by my service provider. And it stays, well, it's a moving IP address, but people can trace it back to me. Once we've got, wait a minute, no, once we have a VPN, then instead of my address being used to show everybody, the address that's actually used is the one provided by Surfshark, which means that my ISP, Internet Service Provider, will see the URL from Surfshark, and it will send out as though it's actually coming not from my PC but from Surfshark, and the internet will see me coming via a Surfshark. Well, I come back here. Okay, and coming from a different location. Okay, so my computer at the moment looks like it's coming from Manchester and not wonderful Wiltshire. And that's the masking that takes place. And that's how you get a number that you actually take with you. You're actually replacing the number. Okay, so network stability. Now, the next feature that we're going to talk about is throttling. Throttling is basically when your internet service provider reduces your broadband signal. They basically step it down and they decrease the speed at which you're broadcasting. With a VPN, to a certain extent, you can bypass that. You can improve your speed. So when we come back to here, if I scroll down here and I bring this on screen, just give me a second. And we're going to go here. We talked about increased security. You get a higher internet speed when you're using a VPN as opposed to direct from your ISP. So that's one of the features of a blog, which is on the OneStream blog site, and increased security and higher internet speed are two of the features of using a VPN. And I just need to bring this back in. Okay, avoiding throttling is basically your ISP may be stepping down your speed, your output. That can be increased by using a VPN. And I've certainly noticed on both my mobile phone and my iPad that the speed is increased. These have both got the Surfshark VPN on, and they're both running faster than they were before. So speed is improved, and the same is true of the desktop when I was testing yesterday. And as I say, I'm going to test this for a month and report back probably in one of my broadcasts in March and keep you up to date, because I'm totally interested in this, because anything that keeps us secure, anything that allows us to go faster, anything that allows us to explore more, well, I'm all for that. And it does give another dimension to your internet and to your broadcasting. Okay, so now if we go back to here, and I keep losing a thing, just a minute. I'll bring it back in again. I'm going to go to the chat in a second. Okay. Protection. If you're using the bottom up example here, where you use the device straight to the internet, your ISP sends a signal out, and it's a two-way traffic. But let's just go to the chat for a moment, and going over to the chat, and yeah, I've got the postings that I've made, and nobody else yet. Okay. But your IP address given to you by your internet service provider basically identifies you. And if it's ever made public, you could be subject to an attack. And basically the benefit of having, just let me go here and go here and add to stream. Okay, you're protected against attacks because you're basically, because you're going through the server and you have a new IP address, they're going to attack Surfshark. They're not going to attack you. So you're protecting yourself from DDoS attacks. And the DDoS attack is where people, especially, it happens a lot sometimes in gaming. I'm not saying it happens everywhere, but sometimes, that people start pinging your IP address. And basically that is an attack. That's what happens to even to major websites, is a DDoS attack. And the DDoS attack is people pinging your address consistently. Okay, now I mentioned it before, but the other major factor in, we've got protection, we've got speed. The other thing is multiple devices. So it's every PC you've got, every tablet you've got, every mobile phone gets the VPN. So every piece of hardware you can protect to the same level as you're protecting your PC, and they will go faster, they will be more secure, and basically you can identify yourself as being from any country. Now, in theory, this means that if you're in Australia and you want to be in the UK, you can select a VPN server from Surfshark or NordVPN, and that will tell everybody that you're in the UK, even though you're in Australia. And you can then access services in the UK as if you were in the UK, but you're not, if you understand where I'm going with this. There is one site, however. I mean, basically, let's put it this way. The BBC have a brilliant library of video and brilliant live programs. You could, basically, if you're in Australia, get the VPN to say you're in the UK, and then you could watch content which is restricted and not available in Australia. And you can do that with a number of sites. I'm not going to mention names because this is not the reason. It's a reason people perhaps use free VPNs, but if you're using a paid VPN, you do want to be responsible. But I tried this yesterday. I pretended that I wasn't I used a VPN and I tried to access videos on the BBC network and it wouldn't let me. Okay, so the BBC has got extra protection built in. So be aware that by getting a VPN, you're not going to be watch geolocked content around the world. People providing the content have actually put things into place so that you're still restricted. And again, this is why I'm taking a month to actually test the technology, is because we are going to Australia, and I will be accessing the systems from Australia, and I'll let you know how I get on. Okay, but this is what I'm taking with me. I'm taking with me Surfshark, and that will allow me quickly to change from one VPN to another. So I could pretend that I'm in Algeria. Okay, and I'm going to take that off again. I could be anywhere in the world. Each one of these has a different IP address. Hang on. I'm still here. Okay, I'm going to close the VPN. Okay, and I've stopped sharing. Okay, I did say earlier that what you shouldn't do is start or stop a VPN whilst you're live broadcasting, because you can interrupt the broadcast. Tried it yesterday, and that's what happened. That's why I'm not going to do it. So I had a choice with this broadcast, whether I went via VPN or my standard ISP. I decided to go with my standard ISP. Okay, and over in the chat, have I missed anybody? Just a minute. If you're watching live on YouTube, I want to say thank you very much. I think we've caught everything and we're up to date. And it says 3 messages, and I sent all 3 of them. So all is good. Okay, so let's go and bring a few things in. I'm going to bring this in and add to stream. So you are listening to Stephen live from Wiltshire in England, and we're talking about VPNs for streaming, yes or no. I'm about to give you my judgment in a minute. And I'm going to bring this in as well, because the 3 pillars that we're talking about are increased security, higher internet speed, and unrestricted access. And unrestricted possibly, okay, because you can be physically in one place, but your internet connection can be to a VPN server elsewhere in the world. That's the way this works. Okay, you can even pretend to be in the same country, but the thing about this is that once you're using a VPN, you're not using your own IP address. You're behind the VPN and you are secure. Nobody knows your IP address apart from the VPN. Yeah? Because the address that goes out will be the address that's sent out by NordVPN or Surfshark. Okay, so going back to my notes again, which are down here. And I'm just going to bring this back on screen. I'm just waiting for it to come in, and we're going to show it on screen. So what we've talked about today, we've done an introduction to the VPN. How does a VPN work? And we had the diagram showing the app that you download and the server that the VPN people provide. We talked about privacy and security. If you're broadcasting on a VPN, then your IP address cannot be found by anybody, be they friend or foe. Your ISP will not know where you're surfing because they will see a different IP address coming from your machine. We can technically bypass geo restrictions. I told you some providers like the BBC know that you're actually trying to do that and stop you. Network stability. We had the situation where a Twitch gamer was actually broadcasting, and he did not have a good internet signal from his provider. He spoke to his provider and said, can you improve my internet signal? And they said no. So he decided to try VPNs. He found a VPN in his state, which gave him a reliable internet connection. This is what it's all about, getting a reliable internet connection. And instead of his games being choppy on Twitch, they work seamlessly, and he's pleased. And if you are a game streamer on Twitch, do take a look at VPNs and how they can improve your performance. The next item we looked at was avoiding throttling. Our ISPs do try and give us what we pay for, in other words, the bandwidth up and down, but they sometimes on the uploads throttle it. They restrict the speed at which we can broadcast. Using a VPN, it is possible to avoid throttling, so you can get a better speed through your ISP than you would normally. Apologies for all the initials in this. Right, if you are broadcasting a lot and people get to know your primary IP address, you could be subject to a DDoS attack. This happens to people, even the largest companies suffer from this. A VPN will give you protection from a DDoS attack. DDoS is denial of service, which means that people start pinging you. Ping's been around since the beginning of the internet, and basically what you're actually doing is asking a server if it's alive, and too many pings coming in at the same time will slow the server down, which slows the service to the internet down. Remote access. This is the first major thing that I found. If you're out and about with your mobile phone or your tablet, and you've got a VPN on, you are going to get better speeds. I've noticed this over the last 24 hours. I've got a better speed on my phone and a better speed on my iPad, which means that when I go out and I'm shooting video, by 4G, I could well get a better signal. I'm going to test that as well, because normally when I'm out and about, it's on 4G. I'm going to put this through a VPN and we'll see basically what difference it makes to the broadcasts. But VPNs, not just desktop, they are on mobile and on tablets. So I'm going to test that I'm going to get a better signal when I'm out and about, and therefore better quality of broadcast. Okay, so that's remote access. Right, compliance and regulation is one of the things that you actually fit in with. And if I go here, I can give you a bit more idea. Just give me a second. I just need to go here. When I'm setting up this broadcast, I have a crib sheet which is basically a document on Grammarly, which I set up in my research. It's all researched. I'm just going to go in, and if I show you for a moment, I'm just going to scroll down here. Just wait a second, and we're going to go down, and I want. See, I got through 8 points without needing a set of notes, but point 9 is compliance and regulation. Now, in some regions, there may be specific regulations or censorship laws that affect online content. By using a VPN, broadcasters can navigate that because people, they don't know where you're broadcasting from. Right, that's one of the minor ones. And then the next one down, which I'm going to bring on screen now. The next one down is option 10, and this is basically early access to beta testing. VPNs can allow broadcasters to access beta features or services that might be restricted to specific geographic locations. This can be useful for testing new platforms or features before they're officially launched. So there you have it, 10 pieces of information about a VPN. And now, I suppose, is basically where I answer the question. And if we go back here and bring this up on screen and add to the stream. Okay, so should we use a VPN for streaming? I am now convinced that a VPN is beneficial to live streamers. Mobile, 100%. Desktop, in the 90s. That having a VPN means that you are just going here. And if I go here, having a VPN means you get increased security. Nobody can identify you. Your ISP does not know where you're surfing. Higher internet speed because you're using servers which are more powerful than your ISP is providing. Unrestricted access because you can be linked to any of the servers that are on the VPN network. Now, the major VPN providers have set up networks. NordVPN has over 6,500 servers globally. Surfshark VPN has over 3,500. You can basically, as we saw earlier, you can switch your VPN. Let's just share screen again. Let me go here and share screen. So let's share. And I'm going to go for an app. I'm going to go for this app. Share. And I'm going to bring it on screen. And it should appear in a moment. Okay, so that is the Surfshark app. Remember, you download the app on your desktop, you download the app on your mobile and tablet, and from the app, you can decide which network, which country you're actually going to be broadcasting from. Now, I'm going to try Ireland, I'm going to try the Isle of Man, I'm going to try ones near to me. This is a question of experimenting. It's fact of life that if I tried a server in France, what would happen? So I'm going to spend the next 30 days actually experimenting with Surfshark and everything that VPN can do. I'll come back in a short video in March and give you my total findings. But on balance, I'm impressed by using a VPN in live broadcasting. I'm going to continue my live broadcast. I'll be broadcasting via VPN in the morning. I also want to say that I am really enjoying. I just want to give a shout out to a good friend of mine. And if I go here, I want to give a shout out to a good friend of mine, Barry Loxton. As you probably gathered by now, I'm using a green screen, and I'm using background images sort of to increase. Right, okay, we've got to attract viewers, so I'm with the turtles on this one. I'm not going to sing Happy Together, but let's stay with the turtles. It's been my pleasure to broadcast to you today, possibly from Wiltshire in England, possibly from Manchester, England. You decide. VPNs are here to stay. They can help live streamers. They can increase our security. No qualms on that. You increasing your security by a factor of 10 at least. Higher internet speed, depending on your ISP and the server you're using at the moment. Unrestricted access. You can be broadcasting from anywhere in the world to anywhere in the world, especially if you use OneStreamlive. You can broadcast up to 45 different destinations. And if I go here, let me just go to live selling again. So I'm going to stop sharing. Don't need that anymore. I'm going to go here and I'm going to go to live sales. I'm going to come down here and I'm going to tell you, if I scroll down here and I'm going to add to the stream. Okay, let's remove that and remove that. Okay, I'm broadcasting today from OneStreamlive, which is my favorite broadcasting platform by now. It's the most powerful. I have, on behalf of OneStreamlive, created a Udemy course. The Udemy course, the link is now on YouTube. If you want to know anything about how to operate the system that I'm using today, OneStreamlive, then please do take the course. Just hop over to Udemy, search for OneStreamlive, you'll find the course. Or if you're actually on YouTube now or watching the replay on YouTube, click the link that is actually in the comments on YouTube. Okay, is there anything else to show you? I think that's the two main things. Oh, finally, let's go here. And finally, once you get to know the OneStream system, you can become a OneStreamlive affiliate and you can get 25% commission when somebody signs up using your affiliate link. Just need to qualify first. Once you're accepted, if people pay monthly, you'll get 25% commission each month. If people pay annually, you'll get 25% commission each year. And I heartily recommend OneStreamlive. It is the best streaming platform. As we've seen today, I've been showing pictures, showing text, sharing screen, doing everything that's possible with the should you use a VPN. So yes, go and check out VPNs now. The top two are Nord, N-O-R-D VPN, and Surfshark. I'm testing Surfshark. If you use a VPN, please get in touch and let me know which one you're using. Right, from the turtles and me, be happy together. Enjoy the rest of your day. Take care, and I'll see you next Wednesday, 10 a.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. in the UK. Goodbye for now.